Yes, good morning. I'd like to bring the February 1st, 2023 Planning Advisory Commission meeting to order. The official start of this meeting is 9 a.m. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you could please silence or turn off your cell phones. Thank you. I'll remind those in the audience and those watching on TV that this is the first hearing of any rezoning, text change, or special exception request brought before us today. We will first hear a reading of the staff report for the case by planning staff and ask the applicant to provide a brief overview of the request. We will then give the opportunity for anyone in the audience to speak for or against that request or to inquire about said request. The commissioners will have any needed discussion on the case. Once a motion is made and seconded by the commission, a vote will take place and a recommendation will be rendered. The case will go back to the planning department for their independent recommendation. Excuse me, if a favorable recommendation is given, then the case is forwarded to the city council with two independent recommendations. If the planning department makes a recommendation for denial, the applicant will have 10 days from the receipt of the letter stating the denial to notify the clerk of council that they are requesting to be placed on the city council's agenda. The city council of Columbus will hold a public meeting called the first reading. Said council shall consider the case, review planning advisory commission and planning department recommendations, and hear discussions on the matter. Council will make a final decision at a second public meeting called the second reading. Our first agenda item today is to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Does anyone have any comments or corrections regarding the minutes? All right, would a person like to make a motion to approve the minutes? All right, a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you. That brings us to our first case of the day, REZN 11-22-21. Wait, that's the wrong one, isn't it? -22. I'm sorry, 2152. I'm sorry, I got confused. A request to rezone 0.96 acres of land located at 1222 Fifth Avenue. Current zoning is light manufacturing industrial. Proposed zoning is uptown. The proposed use is mixed use. Letitia Littleton is the applicant. This property is located in Council District 7, Woodson. Can we please hear from planning staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and just make one correction. When this case was submitted, Councilor Woodson was the counselor. Now it is Councilor Kogel.
That's right.
General land use here in the comprehensive plan is consistent. It's plan in Area D. The current land use designation is light manufacturing and industrial. The future land use is high density mixed use. It is compatible with existing land uses. The property does not lie within a floodway or floodplain area. Property is served by all city services. There should be no traffic impact. This site shall meet the codes and regulations of the Columbus Consolidated Government for commercial usage. No school impact, no buffer requirements. This is not within Fort Bing's notification range. This is not a DRI. Surrounding zoning to the north is GC, south is LMI, east is LMI, and west is UPT. 35 property owners within 300 feet of the subject properties were notified of the rezoning request. The planning department has not received any calls or emails regarding this request, and there's no additional information.
Thank you. Is there any questions from commissioners with regard to the staff report? All right. Would the applicant please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and give us an overview of your request? I'm not sure if you're, excuse me, I'm not sure your mic's on. Thank you.
Is that better?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So my name is Letitia Littleton. I want to take this time to thank you all for allowing me the opportunity to speak. Would you ask me?
Your name and address for the record. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. My name is Letitia Littleton. My address is 93 Ethan Moore in Jonesboro, Georgia.
Okay. And then I just need a brief overview of what you plan on doing with this property.
Okay, so because it hasn't, actually it's about 20 years or more, it hasn't done anything, it's just been sitting there. We're planning to put 3 apartment complexes, buildings, I'm so nervous, 3 buildings on the lot, with the bottom floor being office buildings. We're looking to also put a cafe there, more like Starbucks. And on the top of the buildings, we're looking to put pools, we're looking to put gyms, and also kind of like a lounge there.
Are there any questions from commissioners?
How
Yes,
you
Ms.
doing?
Thomas.
Is this more like gonna be a recreation center with the pool and what you're talking about?
No, it's not, it's apartment buildings.
It's gonna be apartments.
Yes, ma'am, smart apartments.
Okay, and what range level, money-wise, the rent would be?
We're looking close to between 1,200 and 2,200.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And how many units do you think you would have about?
We're looking in each building to have at least 20 units in each building.
Okay, and so you have enough space for all the parking spaces you'll need and such?
Yes, we're also looking to go downward.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
When will the project begin?
We're looking in the near future, late 2022, 23, early 2024.
Okay.
All right, any other questions?
I have one. Is parking, is it going to be a
We
problem?
also have a parking, so the way the land is structured, we have a parking area there, but we're also looking to do 3 stories down for more parking.
There's no parking requirement in the UPT or the CRD.
Okay.
Yes,
Are
Ms. Thomas.
are these gated? Your apartments, are they gated?
Only in the, where your cars are, yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Is there any more questions?
We also will have a concierge inside, so you can't get upstairs except by being buzzed in by the concierge.
Thank you.
Safety.
Any more questions? Is there anybody in the audience that'd like to speak in favor of this request? I see no one. Is anybody in the audience like to speak against this request? All right, is there any other additional discussion amongst us commissioners? Okay, would the commissioner like to make a motion? All righty.
I will. I make a motion regarding case REZN 1122-2152, a request to rezone .96 acres located at 122 Fifth Avenue. The current zoning is LMI, and the proposed use is UPT. And based on this, I make a motion that we approve this because it's compatible with existing land use.
Okay, would the commissioner like to make a second? All right, Mr. Baker, all those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed? All right. Thank you. It's been approved, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right. That brings us to our second case of the day, REZN 01230036, a request to rezone 7.68 acres of land located at 2925 Manchester Expressway. Current zoning is LMI, light manufacturing industrial. Proposed zoning is GC, general commercial. The proposed use is health and fitness facility. Fitness Ventures LLC is the applicant. The property is located in Council District 5, Crab. Can we please hear from the planning department?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. REZN 01-23-0036. This case is consistent with the comprehensive plan. Planning area A. Current land use designation is general commercial. Future is general commercial as well. It is compatible with existing land uses. The property does not lie within a floodway and floodplain area. Property is served by all city services. The average annual daily trips will increase to 712 trips, up from 248 if used for commercial, if used for industrial. It will remain at a level service C. The site shall meet the codes and regulations of the Columbus Consolidated Government for commercial usage, which it already does. There's no school impact, no buffer requirement. This is not within Fort Benning's notification range. This is not a DRI. Surrounding zoning, north LMI, south GC, east GC, and of course the west is I-185. 12 properties within 300 feet were notified of the rezoning request. Planning Department received no calls or emails regarding this request. As far as additional information, this was Connect, which was an LMI use. Then it was rezoned for Best Buy, which is a GC use. And then here in the last couple of years, it was rezoned back to LMI as an Amazon-type distribution center. That never took place. Now we have a retailer or a general commercial use coming back in. So now the applicant's looking to go back to general commercial.
All right, thank you. Is any questions for the planning staff? All right, will the applicant please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and give us an overview of your said request?
My name is George Mize. I'm a lawyer representing Fitness Ventures, which is the applicant. My address is 1111 Main Avenue. I really don't want to waste y'all's time. I'm hoping this time we actually get a business put into that vacant building. But Fitness Ventures is a franchisee, one of the fastest growing franchisees of Crunch Fitness franchise system, which has been in the business for over 30 years. Fitness Ventures has 30 locations. They have several others in development. They've got like 100 additional territories throughout the U.S. to do the development. But as the planning said, we're seeking to rezone about 7.7 acres of land located at the northeast quadrant of the intersection of I-185 and Manchester Expressway from LMI to GC. And as he said, what we plan to do is repurpose and redevelop a vacant, deteriorating Best Buy building into a Crunch Fitness Spa and Fitness Center. I can't ever get that right. But as indicated, the proposed rezoning and use is certainly consistent and compatible surrounding land uses. As you can see to the east, looking at the zoning map, there's a large GC area known as Peachtree Mall and its many out parcels. It's also bounded by major arterial roadways, I-185 to the west and Manchester Expressway to the south. And at each one of those quadrants, all of those properties located at the quadrants are already zoned GC. And as Will said earlier, this property was zoned GC, and then we rezoned it to LMI back in the spring of 2021, and now we're seeking to rezone it back to GC in hopes of actually getting somebody to fill that building. As I said, my client is attempting to redevelop this property from a Best Buy building to a Crunch Fitness Spa and Fitness Center, offering state-of-the-art fitness equipment. They're offering group and fitness and ride classes, personal trainers, hydro massages, tanning, babysitting services, and more. And I have just some pictures here for you to see of existing Fitness Ventures centers. And you can see we're talking about a pretty upscale fitness center. All public facilities and infrastructure located at the site, services development, there'll be no negative impact to those. As he said, there'll be no negative impact to traffic, and there'll be no additional investment on the city's part in that regard. We expect this development to have a very positive economic impact on the city and its citizens, including the creation of numerous construction jobs during about a 6-month rehab process, together with a substantial increase in business for local suppliers, subcontractors, electricians, plumbers, and others who support the construction industry, and we expect to create about 100 permanent jobs once the fitness center is up and running. From an ad valorem standpoint, we expect to increase the ad valorem tax base, thus providing a substantial economic return to the city, again, without requiring any additional investment on their part and without adversely affecting any existing infrastructure. Further, we expect to have a substantial increase in sales tax receipts in connection with the purchase and sale of about $3 million of construction materials and $1.5 million of fitness equipment. We believe our application and request meet all the requirements for rezoning. The GC classification is certainly consistent and compatible surrounding land uses. All public facilities and infrastructure are located at the site. There'll be no negative impact to the facilities and infrastructure or to traffic. We believe this development will be a great benefit to the community, both in terms of job creation and tax revenue generation. We respectfully request you approve our application and recommend approval to council. I'll be happy to try to answer any questions you might have.
You got any questions for the applicant? Yes, ma'am, Ms. Thomas.
Is this the first in Columbus?
I think it is, yes. First Crunch Fitness, yes.
Okay, but there are other places that they have these.
Yes, that's a really good question. They've got 30 developments, ranging from Gainesville, Florida, to Lawrence, Kansas, to Boulder, Colorado. So they really have a very large footprint. And this is going to be their first venture in Columbus.
There's one 30 miles up the road at the Cal College, so there's one within 30 miles.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not going to say anything negative right now, but we'll catch up later.
When do y'all plan on starting the project?
I don't know that. My piece of this pie, so to speak, is to just get it rezoned. It's under contract, and part of the contract condition is to get it rezoned. But they've been pushing this. My guess is they're ready to get going. But you got about a 6-month period of rehab, renovation.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Weekly.
Could you tell me what the hours of operation would be?
That's a good question. I don't know that. I don't know.
All right. Yes, Mr. Baker.
This proposed rezoning will also give you GC for that vacant lot.
Right.
Is there any proposed plan for that at this point?
Not at this time.
Well,
When Best Buy had it, it was intended to have some more retail up there, but because of the isolation, I don't think they could really persuade anybody to come in. Best Buy is sort of a destination spot. And just other retail they pursued just did not see themselves as a destination spot.
And that makes perfect sense. Plus, that's another reason that I'm not sure that the time of operation is going to affect anybody, since it is so isolated at the end of the runway there.
Are any other questions? All right, is anybody in the audience who'd like to speak for this request? Anybody in this audience like to speak against this request? Okay, would the commissioner like to make a motion?
I'll do it.
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion regarding case REZN 01230036, a request to rezone 7.68 acres located at 2925 Manchester Expressway. Current zoning is LMI. The proposed use is GC. Based on this, I move that we approve this request, and it's compatible with existing land uses.
All right, Commissioner, like to make a second? All right, thank you. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All right.
Thank you very much.
All right. That brings us to our last case today. It's a case EXCP 0123-0039, a request for special exception use located at 2312 Ellen Avenue. Current zoning is SFR3, Single Family Residential 3. The proposed use is a daycare type 3. Michael Powell is the applicant. The property is located in Council District 7 at Kogel. Could we please hear from staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. EXCP-01-23-0039. Access is or will the type of street providing access to the use be adequate to serve the proposed special exception use? Ellen Drive is a local road, as is Broadmoor and Patsy Lane. These roads will provide adequate free flow movement. Of course, the area is also a grid system, and Key Elementary is located in that area. So there's already institutional uses in there. Pedestrian and pedestrian safety is or will access into and out of the property be adequate to provide for traffic and pedestrian safety. The anticipated volume of the traffic flow and access by emergency vehicles. Access into and out of the property in question will provide for adequate traffic and pedestrian safety and emergency access. Adequacy of public facilities. It's got all the city utilities and everything the city provides, from water, public safety, to utilities. Protection from adverse effects, or will refuse service, parking and loading areas on the property be located or screened to protect other properties in the areas from such adverse effects as noise, light, glare, odor. Property is surrounded by SFR3. Zoning classification, noise, light, glare, and odor should be limited due to the nature of the business. Plus, those issues are also addressed in Chapter 4 of the UDO as far as screening, lighting, things of that nature. Hours of operation, will the hours and manner of operation of the special exception use have no adverse effects on other properties? The hours of operation for this use will not have any adverse effects on the neighbors. Compatibility. This is a church. The structure's height, size, and location should match the uses found in other SFR3 properties in the area. 55 property owners within 300 feet have been notified by mail of the proposed special exception use. We did not receive any calls or emails regarding this special exception.
Thank you. Is any questions from commissioners regarding the staff report? Yes, ma'am.
What is it's daycare type 3? What is type 3?
That means over 17 children.
Okay.
Or any other questions for the staff?
Is there a maximum within that
No.
type 3?
No.
Okay.
Typically, when a church is tucked back in a neighborhood like this, they're going to get their customers from the neighborhood, whereas a St. Luke or a St. Anne's or a Brookstone's going to get them community-wide.
All right. Would the applicant please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and give us an overview of your request?
Yes, my name is Mike Powell, pastor of Asbury United Methodist Church. We're looking at, the facility was once a Montessori school. We've got administrative offices on that one wing, but lots of classrooms. And according to a Mission Insight study, over the last 20 years, the number of households in that subdivision, which is a densely populated subdivision, is almost 4,000 households in that subdivision. The number of single families has increased over 40% in the last 20 years. There's a elementary school directly across the street from the church that has an after-school program, but it closes at like 5. So the need for childcare for working single-family parents is, it's sad. And if you know anything about Oakland Park, it's, like I said, it's a very densely populated subdivision, and trying to get to and from work and home and to try to get the kid after school it's cumbersome for all those parents. So the church is across the street from Key Elementary School. They're our partners in education. We're their crisis fallout center. So it's a pretty routine type of relationship that we have. I'm on their Partners in Education board, and so we enjoy a pretty good relationship. And this would ease a lot of the hardship that a lot of parents have with trying to get off of work and get home and get to their kids or have the kids someplace. To the question you asked earlier, the state of Georgia has a prerequisite for the number of children based on square footage. It's 35 square feet per child. So we would certainly have to be in line with all of that.
Any questions? Oh, yes, Ms. Thomas?
How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine, ma'am.
Good. What are your hours? Since you said the school was 5 o'clock or something, what are your hours going to be for your daycare, sir?
Well, initially, we're looking at about 7 o'clock, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., but we'll adjust based on what we got there because, like I said, it's a densely populated subdivision, so there's a lot of shift work.
Right.
And so we want to be consistent with what the needs are of the community.
I understand. Okay, and you said that the school doesn't have a daycare no more? Are they
Well, it was once before a Montessori school, but that was long ago. So that's been closed.
Okay.
And the Montessori school had a small number of kids. You don't have to rezone if you're dealing with 6 kids or less. But because we're wanting to try to serve the community, we had to go back and ask for rezoning to be able to accommodate more kids, to be able to help the community.
Right. Okay, are you going to be like a 6-day a week or just 5 days a week business?
I'm thinking 5 days a week, but again, if the community, if something changes and they need it, then that's something down the road. But right now, our current plan for staffing and all that is Monday through Friday.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions?
The documentation said that you have a couple of retired principals helping. Are they full-time paid staff? Are they volunteer consultants or?
My wife is retired educator, 42 years, the last 17 years is principal of Double Churches Elementary School. Dr. Zenobia Moore is retired principal. We also have affiliation with the young lady that ran the daycares on Fort Benning, and they are serving as consultants and helping us to staff this. And Dr. Moore's daughter is a current director at another location, and she's going to serve as our director. So we're just making sure that we've got good information and good support and guidance so that we can have the best facility possible for
Thank
these
you.
children.
And the Reverend's wife has been assistant principal at River Road and longtime principal at Double Churches Elementary.
All right, any other questions? Would the commissioner like to make a motion?
I will.
Yes, ma'am. You're on a roll.
I make a motion regarding case EXCP 01230039, a request to rezone 1.57 acres located at 2313 Ellen Avenue. The current zoning is single-family residential 3, and the proposed use is a daycare type 3. Based on this, I move that we approve, and the property is compatible with the existing land uses.
All right, Commissioner, okay. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All righty. Thank you, sir.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Sir. I'll do it. Yes, sir.
Is there any other business amongst this commission before we adjourn? All right, would the commissioner like to make a motion to adjourn? All right. All righty. We're adjourned.
Next meeting in 2 weeks?
Yeah, next meeting's in 2 weeks. Thank you.